what's our next topic?
We just got done watching. I don't know if I want to call it a documentary, but it was like this, like a mini documentary.
Yeah, it's an inside look.
An inside look.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Inside
look. From Vice on street takeovers in LA, particularly the one, I guess, the major club taking over. I don't know how I personally feel yet on that documentary. First of all, I think it was a little bit glamorized.
Yeah, it was a little glamorized. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this because, as you guys know, back in the day, I used to, race and stuff. I just think it's a different view from what everybody else sees because you guys haven't or have never been involved in that side of things.
Or that deep.
Coming from somebody who...
And clarify Danny and AJ. Because I came from that scene as well.
Oh, okay. Oh. So, well, not taking over. I'm talking about like street race. I'm talking about the whole point of, doing things that are against the law and participating in things to kind of catch that adrenaline. It was a very good inside look, in my opinion, and a very good description of what it feels like to do things like that. And
for the cops.
For the cops, what?
It's a good inside look for the cops.
Oh, I agree. I mean, the documentary was whatever. Yeah. But I'm just telling you, like, the way they explain things, it makes sense. And it is a mentality that a lot of people have. Obviously, I've grown from that, and I don't do that stuff or participate in any of that stuff now. But I can see why people are into it and why people like doing it. So to me, it was a really good explanation of what it feels like to be on that side. Obviously now, or actually say when I was younger, because now it's like I see it totally different. Mm-hmm. A lot of people getting hurt, a lot of cars being damaged for nothing. Spectators, obviously, it's I think they've killed people, right?
Yeah.
Doing
absolutely.
that. So it's like it's not really worth it for me no more. But I can definitely understand the making of the video and why they pointed out, or like you said, glamorized that side of it, because when you have nothing else, I mean, most of the time, that's like you said, everybody had a day job, everybody has something, but that one specific thing that they do is something that they really enjoy doing it. So like when I was working my, regular 9 to 5 and I would go street racing, it's like, dude, I'd live for those. I'd work all week or 2 weeks, get a paycheck, buy parts just to go out for one night and try to beat that next guy. So for me, it's a little different. I guess a different view because I've been there. And I've had fun doing those things, and I've enjoyed going from spot to spot and feeling like cops ain't gonna stop us. They can't do anything. However, I do not agree with the big crowd of people. Mm-hmm. Street racing was more like you don't want a lot of people there because you want to kind of keep it, a tight group, get the races in and out, and you're done. And this thing is just getting out of hand as far as how many people there is. It's crazy. That's a whole different rush, man.
Yeah, I think my opinion is they're making it more of a big deal than what it really is, because this is there's a lot of people doing it, but it's a real small select few.
Are you talking about the media making it bigger, or?
Yeah, because it is in LA and it is in
it's everywhere now.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, but it's not just like even in the TV show. They said it's in the Middle East, and okay, so if I go do a burnout in Oklahoma and get someone to videotape it, that's a takeover. You know what I mean? They're making a big deal. It's not as big as they're making it. Now, granted, the takeovers in LA, for the most part, they're on Sundays. It's the Sunday fun day, and then every now and then they'll do it on a weeknight. But it's a small select few. South Central, we all know. It's in South Central, Carson, Torrance, those areas over there.
Yeah.
You don't have takeovers necessarily where I live, right here.
But you do though. Didn't they have one by our house?
No, there's a difference between a street takeover and say a big meet.
No, it was a street takeover. We had a street takeover.
They pick random streets now.
Well, let me finish my point, then you guys can rebuttal, okay? Right, let me finish, okay? So the point I'm getting to is that it's a small select few. There's a task force out. It's a street racing task force. We all knew that. But, they're confined to an area, a group. So in my eyes, it doesn't affect me anymore. I know we've had talks before about street racing and takeovers and how the cops are cracking down on people like us that don't do it. I think for the most part, that's that is the sad reality, but it's not as big as it is, or they make it. It's confined to these areas. You won't catch me in South Central on Sunday at 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever, on those same streets. You know, I work in that area, so I know what streets they are. I've actually seen them a couple times by driving by, but you know, it's a culture. I think it's more of a culture thing than anything else. Everybody's breaking the law, drinking, smoking, huffing, puffing, whatever. And instead of families going to the movie theater and watching a movie, or going to dinner, going to a buffet or something like that, you know, they take the bus, or they walk, or the scooter, and they go watch these takeovers down the street from their house, you know. So, and those are the people that are getting hurt, you know. Those are the people that are getting hurt. And these people, that's what they have. They, you know, that's what they are doing. And, you know, that's, you know, it's not as big as people think it is. And eventually it's going to get shut down. Someone's going to get really, really hurt. I know I haven't heard of deaths. I heard people say people have died, you know, or gotten hit or whatever. I think I maybe saw one video of someone that possibly died. But something really bad's going to happen. You know, there's little kids out there, 7, 5 years old, something like that, or a pregnant mom out there, you know, maybe a teenage mother, 19 years old, you know, 15, 16.
Something's going to happen.
Something's really bad's going to happen, and it's going to be unfortunate, you know, and I hope that they realize that something like that could happen, because, you know, when you're messing around, you have a 4,000-pound car and you're whipping it around.
It becomes a weapon.
You can lose control. I don't care how good you think you are, you know. So it's just, you know, I don't like the fact that, you know, a show on HBO, Vice, has videotaped it and decided to show, you know, millions and millions of people, because all that's doing is fueling the fire, you know. And we're talking about it, but you know, I hope we get that big, but you know,
now
that's just my opinion.
I find it kind of funny because not the documentary, not the inside look, but I was looking at Marley's face the entire time.
Oh my god!
And I could tell visually that Marley was getting a little bit upset at what they were showing, what they were publicizing. First and foremost, Marley, before I ask you your opinion, I'm just gonna share my couple thoughts.
Yeah, no, go
and
for
then
it.
and then we'll get into.
So I'm trying to get quiet because I'm gonna rant.
Yeah.
And I already know.
So let me.
We all can rant,
Yeah.
but let's try to not make it a rant too long. You know, hit the PowerPoint.
I think I'm gonna surprise people with my.
You know what? I can get behind the idea of finding something that's going to put you at peace, that's going to make you feel like you're having fun, that's going to give you the adrenaline rush. I understand that perspective of things. What I'm not okay with, particularly out of Vice, was that they glamorized it. They made it look like something appealing. They made it look like something that everybody should do. How is and where or when is it ever okay to publicly drink a beer while driving a car out of control? How is that ever okay? How is publicizing that, putting it in the public eye in a way that makes it seem safe or okay? How is that ever okay? And so I'm a little bit disappointed in Vice for doing something like that. But Vice is notorious for doing shit like this.
Well, yeah, they're getting the views.
Yeah.
They're getting the views.
Just like everybody else. Just like us right now. We are doing it. We're getting the views or whatever, hopefully. But, you know, subscribe, like, comment.
No, for real.
And hit the notification button, please.
For real.
But I see what you're saying, but we're, you know, this is different for us because this is, you know, this is closer to us because this is a reality. You know, that's a show, you know, but this is a reality because it does affect us in one way or another. And that's all I got to say.
And it's true, but like I just didn't think that was okay. Putting them like to like some cool slow jam music, you know, that made it seem cool. Like why, dude? Like
all the nice videography.
But you know why? It's because as somebody that's doing it, that's how you feel. And I'm gonna be realistic. That's how you feel.
True.
You feel like that. You feel like you're unstoppable. You feel like nobody's you do.
in
And like
the
I said,
world,
I've been in those situations where every fucking weekend I'd go race, and it's like I don't care if the cops pull me over. I got in state rev tickets. I've got my car impounded. I was still back out there racing the next fucking week or whenever I got my car back. And no matter what, it wasn't gonna stop me. Look at now, I got my first car when I was 16. I'm 31. 15 years later, I'm still modifying my car. Obviously, like I said, I'm not doing illegal shit like that no more. But
Wink.
it still never stopped me from
Getting back out there.
From yeah,
Or just
Doing
getting
what
back
you're
into
passionate
it.
about.
doing what you're passionate about. And these guys are passionate about. I don't think it's more car passion. I think it's more of a
Adrenaline
community.
rush.
I think it's more like attention, being around people you're that support whatever you do, because just like we support each other for doing things legally, I mean, I think they support each other for making decisions without having to worry about being profiled, I guess, or looking at without them looking at
They
you.
like the support of doing things. They like to glorify themselves of breaking the law, whatever law that is.
It's an adrenaline.
And
It's an adrenaline. They're
making
adrenaline
they're
junkies.
just they're just bad choice makers.
Yeah.
And that's what they like, and that's what they like to do. You know, they want it's more of a fuck you to the authority.
I think one of the
It's not. Okay. I wanted to share my personal story before I get into my rant here. I used to do street takeovers too. I think especially when I was doing it, I was probably like 18, 19 years old. And I know it's hard to believe, but we would actually have massive, massive crowds. And those were the Kent Street races out in Washington State. And I participated in them, so I remember how I felt. It wasn't necessarily, for the gram and all that extra stuff. There's literally this adrenaline rush. It was never about fuck the cops. It was fuck the cops when you could see the cops trying to get to you and they can't because there's literally so many people. Then that mob mentality of fuck the cops, because you get one person go fuck the cops and then everyone's fuck the cops, and then it's about that. But in the moment when you're racing against somebody and you're out there being stupid on public roads that I had to take to work every day, it's euphoric. There's no other high that you can get from that experience. Even doing it legally, like doing a drift box or something like that. It's that intenseness of I shouldn't be doing this, but I am doing this, and there's 500 people around me saying like do it. It's weird and bizarre. But I stopped doing it because, unfortunately, I did witness somebody passing, and I think that was probably one of the hardest moments I've experienced in my life, and that's why I stopped doing it, is because it seems fun, and but that adrenaline rush is not worth your life, hands down, ever. It's heartbreaking. I've seen that guy every weekend, and I watched him, split his spine in half, and it was, you couldn't do anything. There's so many people that an ambulance couldn't even get there on time. It's heartbreaking. It was hard to watch. So that's why I don't do that shit anymore, because people are stupid. Almost cried. Sorry.
You
did cry.
The hard part about trying to stop it and trying to tell people like, hey, it's stupid, is that just like they said, everybody who's in that video that is doing it, they already know that there's a risk, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Just like I told you, like no matter what happens, you're still gonna go back. So trying to fight it and trying to protest against it, it's not gonna stop. Never.
I think the thing of trying to stop it, I mean, it's just like anything. Anybody that's breaking there's laws, there's prisons, there's jails, there's impound yards. Yeah, it's never gonna stop, but there's gonna be a lot more enforcement on it.
Oh yeah.
The longer this takes, the longer this goes on, the more enforcement that's going to be. They're already passing laws now. If you're a spectator and you get
it's
caught,
a misdemeanor.
Now you're getting tickets. So I mean, it will change. Laws. They do change, and unfortunately, it's going to affect other people. It's what you're doing is, instead of, they think that they're by breaking the law and not being law-abiding citizens, that they're doing something. All they're doing is they're taking our rights away, because they're empowering government and state laws to do more to us.
To everybody.
So you're taking your freedom. You're trying to, it's almost like a thing to say, we are, we're doing what we want when we want. Screw the cops, right? But in all reality, what you're doing is you're giving your rights away, because you're getting more legislation, more laws passed that are gonna affect you in the long run. So when that 18 or 19-year-old kid that's out there whipping his car, and then eventually he grows up and decides, oh, I'm messing up my cars and this and that, maybe gets a good job, and now he's a homeowner and he's 50, 60 years old, and he goes into his nice car and he goes to go drive down the street to go get a gallon of milk for his kid, and then he gets pulled over for some stupid ass reason and gets a ticket. That's when it's going to affect him.
Or even worse.
Well, I mean, it's affecting us now.
Think about somebody starting young.
No, but what I'm saying
with
is
the laws passing.
It's not affecting them now.
No,
later
but
it's going to affect them.
Think about somebody 18, 19 getting a ticket. Say they pass it to where if you get it, it's a misdemeanor, or you go to jail or whatever. Say they go apply for a job when they're 21 because they finished college and they have a good job now, or they want to try to get a good job, and that pops up. What then? I mean, you don't think about that stuff. But
yeah, no, like in Vice itself, the guy was talking about like, oh, one of these guys is an EMT. You can't have tickets as an EMT. You're driving a vehicle. Yeah. I mean, not every single EMT person has to drive the actual ambulance, but I mean, if he gets caught with that, he could lose his job. I mean, you're cutting out a ton of opportunity for that one moment. Yeah. That's such a great freaking point about it, but I don't know. I get annoyed because watching that video with all those gentlemen talking about how it is and how I remember and I understood it, I think what was pissing me off the absolute most is how ignorant they sounded the entire time that they were talking. That a couple of the guys were doing it literally for Instagram. He did a whole big spiel about, oh, I got 33 people on my Instagram account watching me in like 2 seconds. You sound fucking stupid. Give us a place to do this. You have Irwindale. You have Buttonwillow. You have Willow Springs. You have the street place out in, you have Auto Club Speedway. There are literally so many places that give you that opportunity to do exactly what you're doing. Sure, for a fee, but you can go do it legally, safely, and still get all the Instagram views and all this extra
Actually, I just
shit.
found out at Irwindale, you don't even have to pay to go in there. You just pay for your spectator ticket.
Yeah.
And you can drive in there.
Like,
$10.
And then the other thing is, too, like one of them said that, he did say that there is a place you can do it, but it's much funner breaking the law.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. What's the adrenaline rush?
But the other thing is, too, not only that, I mean, they didn't show this in the show, but there's a lot of violence at these places.
Oh, yeah.
There's shootings.
Yes.
There's beatdowns.
Well, people's cars getting
people's cars getting stolen.
I mean, what gets worse than you going and say you do want to watch this and you go over there and all of a sudden someone open fires on you and you get hit with bullets. What happens if you go out there and all of a sudden you get sucker punched and you get beat down? Or people didn't show that side.
No,
why didn't they show that side?
Because they wanted to glamorize.
Exactly. So that's why I have a problem with it, because they're doing it to. It's almost like they're trying to ignite a fire. No. And that's media 100%. They're trying to ignite a fire. They're trying to get something started.
100% the reason why Vice did it, and this is knowing from someone who's actually paid Vice before to do shit on our own products, not on Ingibase, the other companies I work for. The reason why they did it is because that keyword search is ranking. So that's the only reason why they did it. I promise you, if it wasn't popular on Instagram, YouTube,
I know,
on the media,
that's why we understand that. That's why we're talking about it. But what I'm trying to say is they didn't glorify like they did the whipping of the cars, because that if they want to show a culture, show the whole thing. Show the shootings, show the beatdowns, show the kids going to the hospitals, show the cops arresting people, show the cops towing the cars. They didn't do that.
Well, they
showed a little bit of their Instagram.
Yeah.
They showed a little bit of the SRT's Instagram.
Now you got a new people that probably didn't even know about it, seeing this on HBO. Now they're like, oh man,
I want to go check that out.
Oh, some kid in Orange County, right? Oh shit, they're doing it. They even gave streets. They put all the locations that they actually do
they
it.
They gave their Instagram.
So,
so everything.
Now you got
exactly
kids that,
are.
16, 17-year-old kids, 19, maybe 20, maybe 30-year-olds might go out there. I don't know. But now you got these people, now I know where to go see it. I heard about it, but now I know. Now guess what? Shit's going to happen,
It's heartbreaking. I just, it's so annoying. It's so annoying that we did our very first shift talking episode ever was on street takeovers. And here we are a year later and the shit is still popping up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm annoyed. I'm so annoyed that this is still a thing and that they truly don't understand that that they think that they are empowered and they're above authority and they're not. And then the fact that these minority people are not minority like black or Mexican. I mean, like people that are just like the ones that do these street takeovers now affect all of us. And they think it doesn't, but it does, because this law that the law that they're trying to pass up in Sacramento, which actually I think did pass, is really concerning because the way they wrote it, you can just be suspected of being at a street takeover event. So if they catch you on Instagram and they have video proof that you were at a street takeover event because your dumbass posted a video, they can give you that ticket.
Wow.
Well, let's go back. Cops.
If you were at Target and had no idea that there was a street takeover and you happened to be driving a modified car and an officer pulls you over and he goes, oh, well, we just reported a street takeover down the street and you're in a modified car, so I think that you were at that event, you're getting a ticket.
Or maybe your car's getting towed.
Or your car getting
or
towed.
Maybe
or
you might be actually going to jail.
Exactly. So
because you know what? People don't understand that, that cops, there's some good ones out there and there's some bad ones. And they're going to do what I call street justice. And, if you're not protected and you're not, videotaping or on live or dash cams or anything like this, and you never know. So the cops can pretty much do whatever they want, and it's going to be hard for you to win. So you're at the mercy of law enforcement, and hopefully there's good cops out there that won't take advantage of their power that they have, and but there's people out there that want to enforce their power.
Oh, absolutely.
And do the wrong thing. So there's a lot that could happen. I don't understand. There's so many titles and so many things out there that can happen.
Agree.
Yeah. So. I don't know. It's frustrating. I think that's what my opinion is. It's frustrating. I'm sad and sickened to see a lot of newer muscle cars.
That
doing
too.
Street takeovers. I think that really bums me out because it takes. What is it? You could do a donut on a road, and you think you're the hottest shit in the world. My goddamn fucking bars could do that. It's 4-wheel drive. I can still do that.
Oh, here we go about the bars.
Hey, I gotta put Pablo in every.
Can we make a video of the Barth doing a donut?
For real.
That'd be fun.
I want to see that
There'll be big
one.
donuts.
Let me just
There'll be
get
big
some,
donuts.
let me
McDonald's trays.
Yeah, let me get some McDonald's trays and put them on the rear tires and.
Go to Western and Manchester.
Here we go with little Pablo again, guys.
I gotta inject Pablo into everything because I love him and I have to justify his car payments.